Hi guys, how are you tonight? First off, I would like to echo the support for Ford US. This is an issue that's very near and dear to SnagaStool's heart. With all the startups here, I'm sure it's very close to you, so I'd also like to give a round of applause for Ford US. So I'd like to start off with a survey for the audience, and I think it's kind of a fun survey. And I always get a really interesting response in Boston. So how many of you guys here like to enjoy a nice cold beer at a pub? That's actually pretty low for most Boston audiences that we talk to, even though it was like 98%. And how many of you have found it hard to either order a drink or get a bar stool at a bar because it's too crowded? So that's pretty consistent with what we found in our surveys across the nation, and we just completed that. So we found that 70% of people that have gone to a bar have actually left a bar because they couldn't either order a drink or get a bar stool. And so that's where we're coming in. So I'd like to start off with a quick story with my co-founder right here. Back when the Bruins were playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, all we wanted to do was go to a bar, sit down at a pub, and drink a cold beer and watch the game. So I rushed home from work, went to the pub, only to find no bar stools. We jumped in a cab, rode across town, went to Jerry Remy's. We thought there was 40 bar stools. Again, no bar stools. That's when I had that aha moment. I said, hey, if you could reserve a taxi online, if you could reserve movie tickets online, and if you could reserve a table online, why not a bar stool? Meet SnagaStool. SnagaStool is Boston's first bar stool reservation service. Simply log into our application, choose a venue, a number of stools, a time, and a location, and that will reserve your bar stool. SnagaStool will then send you a digital ticket, which is your confirmation to sit in that stool at that certain time. Take that digital ticket on your phone to the bar and present that ticket to the host or bartender, and they'll direct you to their seat. Now we're going to bring 2 or 4 bar stools in every single bar that we're working with. So when you go to the bar, you're going to see either a flag on the back of the bar stool or a table tent that explains the service and lets you know that you can actually reserve that bar stool. And I say reserve sort of lightly because it's not really reserved. A lot of the feedback that we received from the bar owners was, no way, you're not going to put a bar stool there and have it sit open and then someone doesn't show up, I'm losing revenue. So what we developed with our partners at the bar is this concept of snagging. And so think of snagging as something similar to a handicap seat on the T. Feel free to sit there as long as you'd like, but if someone shows up and needs that stool, that's when you're going to have to leave. And so what we're doing is working with some fantastic bars along the Red Line, all the way from Kendall, the heart of all startup in Boston, to Davis. And we got some really excited bars to work with us. They're super excited to get the service up and going. So they're going to work with us to figure out over the next few months what's the right service model for us to do. So we got a couple service models that we're going to be testing here, and starting in January, we just submitted to the App Store. We're really excited to finally get this out there. We're going to start with 1 bar. And you know, when Adriano and I first started, we said, hey, no bar is going to sign up for this. We actually have to have a competition to figure out which bar we can go in first so that we can do this slowly in the right way. And we want to make sure that when we go into a bar, we're going to iterate and change as we go. Very quickly, I'd like to show you the application. Feel free to sign up on our website for the beta version right now. And I think if you click to the left tab, left of that, yeah? So you click in, go ahead, and this is your home page. This is some bars that are local. It's a very sexy page. It shows pubs. You can see where it's at, how close that bar is to you. Here, then you choose which bar you like to. Let's say the Asgard. This is just a prototype right now, but it's going to have a lot of advertisement for you. You can then click there to snag your stool. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to hear your questions because you guys help us build our product the right way.
So great idea and great start. I'm really curious about your
Yeah, so actually that's another great question. One of the companies that we're really interested in working with and we've already reached out to is eHarmony. And so when you think of going on a first date with eHarmony, you're already nervous. I don't know if you guys have heard of like this whole concept of grouper. Grouper's like, they're trying to make first dating a lot less formal. So, you know, a group of your 3 friends will go out with a group of 3 other friends that know each other, and you guys have never met before. So they're trying to really informalize dating. And what we're thinking of doing at eHarmony is allowing you to snag a stool, because if it were me, I'd rather have a first interaction at a bar stool than rather at a more formal tabletop.
What's your guys' revenue model?
Great question. I did get to talk about that. So we're going with a freemium model, meaning everyone can reserve a bar stool, and we're going to limit that time to reserve the bar stool just for our first testing purposes to 1 hour. So feel free to go in, reserve the bar stool, you can check out the service, and then turn it over. And if you go out with 4 friends, you guys can book a block of 4 hours for free, and you can see the Patriots play during the game, and you know, now you have access to the bar. But what we'd eventually like to do, and we're working on event-driven revenue. So imagine the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Patriots on any Sunday or any Friday night. Those are peak times that are tough to get in at the bar. And what we'd like to do is offer those peak times to our premium users who will pay for that service. So if you look at OpenTable, a lot of people don't know this, every reservation that you make on OpenTable, the restaurant actually has to pay OpenTable for that. So the restaurants are going, I'm actually sometimes losing like $25,000 a year, $30,000 a year to pay OpenTable. We're telling the restaurants that we'll actually split this revenue with you. And so they're saying, we don't have a lot of risk, you're going to split revenue with us, and you're going to put people in our bar stools. And you know, I talked to someone today, they said, you know, my wife and I, we'd like to, you know, we go out once a year, and we might go out on a Tuesday night because we don't want to go to the crowd. But I want to make sure that I have a bar stool available. So even if you go out on a Tuesday night and the bar stools aren't full at the particular bar, you'd still want to reserve your seat, even though you want that peace of mind that you could reserve that stool. Yes?
Yeah, are you going to eventually target the student areas, like all suburban where there's a lot of students, a lot of life?
Yeah, great question. So the question was, are we going to target student areas? And my co-founder and I are both 31 years old, and after we met with some of our business advisors, we were pretty disappointed to hear that we were not our own target market, and that most of the target market was people who have iPhones and are 21 to 27 years old that go to the bar. So yeah, we're starting our beta test on the Red Line, which we're really excited because we feel like we're keeping it close to the branding community, people who are willing to try new things on the Red Line. It's not in Boston, it's a Cambridge and Somerville thing. And then once, in terms of development, we're going to the App Store and we're going to learn how to scale that January through March. And then sort of after March, once we've proven a model that we feel is scalable, that's when we're going to go out and go to all of the other bars in Boston. And probably start in Boston. Yes?
So I think there might be like an annoyance factor to this app because I think it's socially acceptable to reserve tables at a restaurant. But, you know, when people go to a bar, they expect to just, you know, first come, first serve, you sit there, you know, what's going to make you think that people are not going to get angry at someone who just reserved, you know, a stool and is going to kick them out?
This is my favorite question because there are 2 groups of people that actually, you know, give us a lot of feedback, and whether you like the app or not, we're generating a ton of buzz over this question exactly. And what we're doing with the bars that believe in our service and believe in us and want to actually help grow the service is we're going to bring 2 or 4 bar stools at every bar. So we're not trying, let's say for example Jerry Rennie's has 50 bar stools over there by the seaport. We're not trying to take away from the natural ebb and flow of a bar, because I think, you know, of a particular pub, you sort of have this romantic old time, you know, it goes back hundreds of years of people going back to the bar and sort of in and out. We're not trying to take that away. We're just trying to offer 2 or 4 spots at every bar. Thank you very much for your feedback.
Join Boston New Technology Meetup. Sponsor an event or venue, present your idea, and attend to network with Boston's brightest. Details are at www.bostonnewtech.org and in the video description.